Welcome to the fourth and final video in our series here on how to connect a Queue Manager and MQ Explorer together. In the first few videos we created a certificate for the Queue Manager, created another one for the user, and we set up some preferences in MQ Explorer. Now we're taking a look at the Queue Manager's SSL directory, and we see that it has a certificate of its own, but it still doesn't have the one that we created in Explorer. Now that was in a guest virtual machine that we stashed its certificate in this directory. We're going to copy it over. It doesn't actually do anything until you add it to the key store. So we're going to go ahead and do that run MQ AKM command and add that TWyatt certificate into our KDB. Now I always like to list the KDB first, just to make sure that I'm not overlaying something and it is the KDB that I think it is. So there we go. KDB has our one personal certificate for the Queue Manager and nothing else. So let's do cert add. We've got to specify the database, the stashed parameter. Got to tell it what file that we want to get our cert from that we're going to add, and we need to tell it what label to use. And again, I like to use the common name as the label. And we're going to tell it trust enabled and FIPS, and now when we list out, we see there indeed is our TWyatt certificate. Now I can get a little bit of detail on the certificate with the cert details command, ironically, and just modify the last one a little bit, specify the label, and get rid of this trust, and there's the certificate that the TWyatt certificate that we created earlier. So it's 2048. If you remember from a video or two ago, the serial number is the same, and the issuer and validity dates are as expected. There's our SHA-256 signature that we specified, and trust is enabled. So the next thing we want to do is actually do a refresh security on the Queue Manager, because we have just changed its key store and we want it to pick up the new certificate that we just added. That's the same thing we did from the command line a little bit earlier. So now we're going to go back into our virtual machine because that's where we've got Explorer set up to talk to this Queue Manager, and that's where we set up earlier our TLS channel. So we're going to make a new connection to the same Queue Manager, and now we're going to use the TLS channel. So we specified JMS demo, we tell it what IP address, and it's already on 1414, so all we have to do is change the channel name, admin TLS Servicon. As we go forward through the dialog, we'll see that the SSL key repositories got picked up from the preferences we set earlier. So if you had to create, say, 15 or 20 different connections, it would already know about these, and if you didn't have SSL on a particular Queue Manager, you just uncheck the box and it goes away. Our SSL option that we specified earlier is already set for us, and so all we have to do is hit finish and we will connect to the Queue Manager, except wait, access not permitted. Now it's telling us that the user ID associated with the request is not authorized. And that means that the SSL portion of this worked. So we're going to hit yes so that we keep the entry, and we're going to go back to our other connection and try and figure out why this did not work. Now I did this on purpose because if you're new to 7.1 and 7.5, you're going to notice that channel auth rules need to be created for these new channels. Now I'm just checking to make sure that I don't have something stupid like the wrong MCA user. But look, see, there's a channel auth rule for the admin Servicon, but there's nothing there for the admin TLS Servicon. So let's go ahead and create that. Now we're going to specify block access. It's a little counterintuitive, but we're already blocking MQ admin. So what we're going to do is we're going to block an ID that can't possibly exist, and we're going to specify a more specific channel name that will take precedence over the first one. So basically what we're going to say is we're going to block this non-existent ID called no access. Implicitly, we're allowing administrative user IDs to get through. And so we're actually going to put a little comment that says that, so somebody coming along later will know why this rule exists. Now, if you look in the command preview, it shows you the actual set channel off command that it's going to issue, which you could copy out and put into an MQSC command, for example. Now, once we've created that, we should be able to actually now go back into the other connection and start it. If we have properly exchanged our certificates, this thing will fire right up. And there it is. So that is how you're able to get MQ Explorer and MQ Queue Managers connected using TLS. And you can see here that it's running. And note that on the TLS server con, you can actually see the SSL peer name, that's the distinguished name, plus the serial number of our certificate. So we definitely have a TLS connection up and running. I'd tell you, hey, it's that simple, but all 4 videos took about 30 minutes. So there you go. If you like that, come back to the YouTube channel and let us know what other tutorials you'd like to see.